I did it, and I want to share with you what I did to get my hormones to a place where they were not driving me crazy. If you're not sure about your hormones and their status, please check out the previous video I have. It is about hormone health symptoms. It's about the symptoms of hormone imbalance, and it will give you a little light. It will help you see where you may be struggling. If you are struggling, it is not a diagnosis. I can't do that. I'm a nurse, a health advocate. I am not your primary physician. There's my dog coming along. So I want to share with you today some of the things that I did to get my hormones in place. Let me just tell you right now, you are not going to like the sound of some of them. But let me also say, a lot of the things I did are just health principles. A lot or all? I want to say all. No, a lot. I'll say a lot because I'm going to throw one in there that's not quite a health principle. It is an extra, okay? It's those foofy things that if you can, you can. If you can't, it's not a problem. It's one of those things that is kind of like leverage, you know? It just makes the process faster, easier, better, quicker results, but doesn't actually lend to your wellness. The principles lend to your wellness. So let's talk about it. Number one, I am doing it right now. So before you think it's exercise, it is not. I am going to talk about exercise, but it is not exercise right now. The reason is I want to start with things that you feel are easy. But I already told you I'm going to talk about exercise. Oh no, I'm going to lose some people off this video. Don't go yet. I'm going to give you exercise hacks. Now listen, I really want to help you and give you tips on how you can get better. Number one is simply fresh air. How does oxygen help with our hormones? Well, your body is one machine. I like to look at it as a circle. Think about a blood cell, a red blood cell. It literally goes to everywhere in your body. What this means is if your brain is hurting, your body is affected. Case in point, anxiety, depression. If you're anxious, that's literally not something happening in your toes. It is happening in your head, right? And if I'm anxious, it's happening in my head. It's not happening in my toes, but guess what? My whole body freezes. My brain has a thought that causes my whole body to have a reaction. My toe gets stubbed, walking in the kitchen, stub it on something. Guess what? If the pain is so bad, I may end up with a headache. Now, how is this connected to oxygen? Oxygen is perhaps arguably one of the most important things for our body in terms of life itself, but it does so much more than life. Oxygen actually helps our body to function optimally because you can be alive breathing air that's not well oxygenated, not so fresh, and actually end up with so many issues in your physical body. That's not to say you're alive. You're alive, but the quality of your life is so poor. And so in order to combat symptoms such as anxiety, depression, fresh air, oxygen, stress, oxygen, there's that saying, right, that people say like, I just need to catch some air. I just need to take a walk. I'm just frustrated. I need to take a walk. Why? I just need some air. I just need some air. I just need some air. We say we just need some air and then we go into the room and we slam the door. That's so dramatic. Okay, I do it all the time. It's so dramatic and it doesn't give you air. Like if you want air, you actually have to go outside. And so get air. Oxygenate your brain. The more oxygen you give it, the more clear your thoughts are. The more optimally your brain can function, the better it can tell the body parts that need to make this hormone and that hormone and settle this part in the body and take care of that pain. Did you know that oxygen is a pain reliever? Get out there, start getting more oxygen. Another thing that I could be doing, but I'm not doing because it's a little bit of a chilly day and it's overcast. Look at that. It's like I have my own light box out here, but it's overcast today, and that is taking some sunshine. Sunshine is so powerful. It was a thing back in the day that if you had this disease or this wound or the baby had jaundice, we would just put them in the sun. And we knew that the sun would help them. But now we have become a culture that is so afraid of the sun, except for selfies or the beach. Would go to the beach, spend all day without our clothes on, but can't stand 15 minutes in the sun because we feel like we're going to get sick. Well, everything has to be done with moderation. So that means take enough sun, spend enough time in the sun, don't overdo it. All right, number 3. We're getting along these, starting with the easy ones. Drink more water. Your body is over 70% water, and your brain is over 80, and some people say 90% water. Drink more water. You will feel better almost immediately. Why water? Because it's like you're washing your body. The excess of this hormone and this virus and that will be washed out. It's like a daily detox, right? So please drink more water. The next thing is your mental state, your mind. If your mind is unwell, you can be the healthiest person, you can be the wealthiest person, and you will still be slumped on a bed feeling miserable. One of the things that I did to get my mind better was gratitude. Gratitude, thankfulness. You hear me talk about this in so many videos. Gratitude. And I sound like a broken record and it's not just me. I'm sure you've heard people encourage you to be grateful time and time again. Gratitude is so incredibly powerful. It changes your reality. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Before you argue and say, I can't change my reality. Yes, you can. So right now, let me give you my view, right? There is that broken down truck and trailer, that hay, right? These trees. If I wanted, I could focus on that broken down things and say, I'm surrounded by old broken things. Would it be true? Yes. I'm surrounded by old, broken, rusty things. I can focus on that and let that shape my reality. My view is so messy or whatever I wanted to say about it. But I could also look up and look at these budding trees and look at these leaves. It's so beautiful. It's so green. It's just gorgeous out here. But if I was just focused on what's not working, that's all I would see. We only see what we focus on. And we have to take that responsibility. You may not be responsible for what has happened in your life, but I had to get to the point where I could hold myself responsible for what I see today. I've been through some stuff, and I'm sure you have too. And in the middle and out of it, I had to just pause and say, what am I surrounded by? I could name all the bad stuff. I could name all the big, unmovable stuff. Look at the big, heavy things surrounding me. I could just I could just focus on those and say, wow, I can't move those. Those are heavy. Those are bales of hay. And they are so big and they are so heavy. There's no way I could move them. And some things in your life feel like those bales of hay. And gratitude looks for the beauty that also exists at the same time as everything else that is old and rusty and big and immovable. Gratitude says, Oh my goodness. These trees with their baby leaves are so pretty. You probably can't see it so well. Oh, that barn is such a pretty picture barn. Oh, those budding leaves and trees. That's what gratitude does. It looks for the flowers because they're there. It focuses on the fresh air because it's there. It focuses on the quiet. It's so quiet. It's so peaceful on this walk. It's there. Doesn't mean I don't have stress and bills, but I don't have to zoom in on that and let it take over. So, gratitude should have been the first thing. Now we'll move on to the next because I think I spent enough time. But if you can understand that it has to start with your mentality because nothing else you do will go very far until you get your mind right, until your mind is working with you and not against you, that'll be a good day. So, the next thing that you're going to do after you drink more water is you're going to start now doing the thing that you probably guessed in the beginning, exercise. You're going to start exercising. And exercising does not mean go up a hill like Annie is doing. I didn't start here. I did not start here. Exercise is not synonymous with weight loss. And so it becomes a touchy thing because, when you say exercise, people are like, self-love. No. Self-love is on the mental space. I don't know why I fainted. Self-love. But self-love is what we have to do. Like, that's getting our mindset right. Seeing that, hey, I have to be content with myself. I have to be content. I have to wherever I am because that's the only place I'm going to get to move forward from. But exercise says, I love my body and my health and my well-being and tomorrow and my children and my community so much that I am going to make myself an asset and not a liability. Without exercise, I become a liability. My aches and pains increase. The chances and the likelihood of diseases increases. My dog is stuck behind the fence. Let me see. Try and lead her out. Keela! Oh, she's not listening. Keela, if you come back here. All right, go ahead, girl. She'll figure it out. There's another opening down there. But yeah, exercise is a big deal. Exercise is a big one. So start slow. One of the ways I encourage women to start whenever I talk to them one-on-one, especially, I say, hey, listen, where are you? Let's see where you are on the scale. Do you move around at all? Because you don't want to just go from 0 to 60 or to 100. You may hurt your body. So you want to start slow. Based on where you are, you may start with 10 seconds of exercise. This is not a joke. This is for real, for real. You may just get up and do some marching actions for 10 seconds. I'm doing it right now. 10 seconds. I know my camera is like bouncing. Just 10 seconds of that. And then you rest for 3 minutes. Do another 10 seconds of that. If you need a longer rest, like 5 minutes, do it. And then put that on a cycle. If you've already been moving, you may be able to start with a jump rope and jump till 10. If you've already been jumping, or, maybe you garden or you do something active, maybe you play with your children, you run around with them. I just recently started back up exercising after my last child, my 5th girl. It was a very difficult labor and birth process that left me in pain over a year and a half. So please be mindful of your own needs and your specific circumstances and situations, and don't put your body under unnecessary strain. The last thing we're going to talk about is diet. Diet, I always leave it for last because it can be a struggle. Diet is that word that I was most afraid of when I was going through my journey. I was afraid of not liking different foods. And like, I was afraid of loss. And that's a real thing. When we go through changes, we sometimes take losses that are not just based on taste, but sometimes are based on identity. Somehow it has become a part of our identity. Certain foods are part of certain celebrations and certain traditions and certain memories, like dipping cookies in milk, and then you become lactose intolerant, and you're just like, but I can't dip my cookies in almond water, almond milk. But to some people it's just like, it's not milk. And so it's a shift, right? And if you have type 2 diabetes, and you're just like, what do you mean I can't eat a birthday cake? Like, that's what I've done my whole life. What am I going to do if I can't eat a birthday cake? And I'm not saying people with diabetes can't eat birthday cakes. I'm just saying, like, are certain things can become attached to our identity when it comes to our diets. And we struggle with this idea of change. And I did too. And you may struggle with the idea of change. So diet is one of those things that can drastically turn your life around. Diet is the building blocks from which you're made. Something is entirely different if you build it using mega blocks, those big blocks that babies play with, and if you build it using Legos. You have a different looking structure. Whatever you're feeding your body is what is making up your body. And so for me, I chose to eat a primarily plant-based diet. I am not 100% plant-based. I don't eat meat. I could, like, if I went to someone's house and that's, all they were serving, and I really believe in like being respectful and honoring someone's efforts, and also just being a part of community. If that's all they had and they were offering me this thing and it was important for them for me to eat it, I'll eat it. I'm not against eating meat. I would not be opposed to drinking milk. But if you've seen the recent articles about milk from the cows we have, I'm I don't want that in my body. I don't want the stuff that's being farmed with these stressed, pus-filled animals. Now, could I get a milk cow and, get milk from that? Absolutely. Could I buy local milk from a farmer's market or a local farm? My sister used to do farm shares at some point, and she used to get milk from some people who had. Absolutely. There are people who are taking good care of the animals and are producing quality food. But for the most part, we eat a plant-based diet. I was the kind of person that would be around a chicken, and my family would always make these awful jokes, and they're like, ooh, that chicken needs to get away and he's gonna get it. Ooh, I loved chicken so much. I know that's stereotypical for me to say, but I loved chicken, okay? Love, that's a strong word. But I did, okay? And so I said all of this to say that any dietary changes that you need to make for your health, for your well-being, for an investment into your future, for your children's sake. We chase wealth so much, but health is so much better. Because we've been doing personal consultations and I've worked with people one-on-one, I have seen some really painful things. I've seen people get to retirement age and then get this horrible, oh, I dropped my phone, and then get this horrible sickness and can't enjoy their retirement. And unfortunately, sometimes die before they spend that money that they saved. Or sometimes they'll save all this money for retirement and then spend it all in trying to get better, in chasing their health, because their health, thing I like to say a lot, their health was that pot that was not watched. I cook a lot, so I know a lot about watched pots. I know a lot about pots that are not watched. They burn. So for me, and so my decision was to put my health on top. Plant foods are far superior than animal foods. And so there's this big thing about the Mediterranean diet. Some of you may have heard it's said to be, one of the better diets, one of the best diets. And something that you'll realize in the Mediterranean diet is that it's plant heavy. You've got the olives, you've got the fats, you've got the coconut oil, you've got the coconut shreds, you've got the hummus, and you've got the lentils, and you've got the grilled vegetables. And then you do have the meats in there, but they're not the overwhelming majority. Then you have the fish in there, and you have a good variety of food. And so the biggest thing with diet is balance. Learning to get rid of the things that are totally just hurting you. And sometimes you have to totally get rid of them. Sometimes you have to cut them out. You know yourself. I know things that I can cut back on, and I know things that I have to cut out because there's no cutting back. Be true to yourself and to your process, and don't be afraid of change, and mourn the things you need to mourn about your changes as they come. But from one moment to another, I always encourage people to eat more plants. Even if you want to keep the animal foods in your diet, definitely increase the plants. Increase your fibers, increase your nutrients, increase the organic things, start a little garden, buy as much locally as you can. You can't always do that. And it's okay. Just do the best you can. And it'll just get better. Same thing we tell our children all the time, right? They can't spell so well at first when they start. Like, just do your best. Nobody's marking you down for your best. We're just celebrating the fact that they wrote mommy as MAMI. We're just so happy, right? So celebrate your stages too. Celebrate the fact that today you said no to that thing. It differs for everyone. For me, it's fries, you guys. Fries. Sometimes I have to say no to fries. Sometimes I can say yes to fries. I like the days I can say yes. So for that bonus thing that I told you guys I'd tell you, for me, it was yam cream. Yam cream made a difference for me. And wild yam cream, progesterone cream. Progesterone is your happy hormone. So wild yam cream made a positive difference for me. I'm home now, mamas. I'm home now. And I hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Bye.